Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. So today is a kind of a continuation video of the Angry Gun 27 receiver, and that's what you see, or this M727 model right here, using all Tokyo Marui parts. Now I promise I will talk a little bit more about this actual setup in the next video, like literally next week or 2 weeks from now. Sorry, it's been a little bit behind, and I know a lot of people have made requests about some other models and other magazine compatibility issues, or see how they fit. So don't worry, I haven't forgotten about those. I will make them, I promise. So but keep those requests coming. I will do my best to make them as they come out, or as the results become available. So I made a video like I think 2 weeks ago about the receiver here, and I think you guys can watch that if you haven't seen that. It's just kind of a brief overview. But I have not yet, was not confident enough to say, hey, this is a complete functional model and it works. So I wasn't sure if I want to make a video just yet. So I will, and before I make a confirmation statement and say, hey, it totally works well with the Marui, I really want to use this Airsoft model a few more times before I can verify and vouch for the product, because it is an expensive buy, and I don't want to, I want to make sure it's actually worth the cost, and it's not going to run into the air, like the issues of nozzle breaking, or the nozzle being broken after a few times, or if you run 100 rounds. So I promise we'll talk more about this. But the reason why I want to make this video is when I was in the process of trying to take apart the old Marui receiver right here. This is the old Marui receiver. You know, whether you need to do it for maintenance or just to clean all the parts or anything like that in the internal, you'll see there are plenty of videos, and really good videos on the web, on YouTube specifically, how to clean it and to maintain the internals. Generally, you don't have to do much, but sometimes you get a little more dirt on the inside, and you really do need to take out some of the parts. And in this case, obviously, I had to do it for this system right here, but everything was surprisingly pretty straightforward when I took the whole Marui M41 apart. In fact, I even had the proper tools. This is actually a special, not clay, a wrench that I used to take apart or to loosen some of the parts, and it wasn't the best, but it actually works. So if any of you guys are WE fans out there and you have this wrench, it does work. I don't entirely recommend this because it's not the best fit, and it will cause some damages on the Marui parts because it doesn't fit as well, but it does get the job done. But do yourself a favor, unless you're really stretch or strapped for cash, I would recommend you actually get a real wrench to fix, or to take apart the barrel nut or whatever it's called. Or risk damaging, which in my case it's kind of scratched up on the internals a little bit. Not a problem to no one that sees that, but in terms of maintenance, that's me. Now, most of you guys who follow the channel probably know that I'm not very mechanically inclined, right? If I buy something and I try to like use it, if it works, then that means that's like the lowest, what's the word, like the lowest common denominator or something like that, where if I can install it, that means it works, or if I can disassemble something or maintain it, it works with the tools I've got. With the exception, of course, this receiver here. So I was able to take apart everything like in the Marui, like the video, except for that one bolt. In the last video I made, there was one screw that was holding. You can tap out these pins right here, but to check out the box on the inside, which I've done now. But there was one little bolt that was holding it in there, if you remember, and I could not for the life of me get rid of it. People in the channel, in the comment sections, were asking the same question, like, well, how do I get rid of, or how do I remove this bolt? And the answer was, well, they said it was like a 5mm like Phillips head or something like that. But I think it depends on the luck of the draw. Sometimes you're going to get a model that is very, very tightly screwed in, and you're not going to be able to remove it easily. In my case, I end up stripping the head of the screw and ruining it, basically. So I ultimately had to get a power set of tools that arrived in here, and this is where the bad part comes in. Look at that. Basically, the part was so difficult to access because it was, if you look down there, hopefully I get some photos there, it was just so, it was just too tight for any power drill to go straight into there, or any real screwdriver. I mean, they probably could have, you probably could get some, but I just didn't have any that was at the appropriate size, and it's really hard to get some good torque in there to take that out. So unfortunately, this looks pretty bad, and it is, but technically speaking, it's still functional. Obviously, you wouldn't be able to attach. Well, actually, maybe you might still be. Actually, you might need a new screw at this point, though. But it's still functional. There's just going to be a giant hole in this, so that's not good. And if you're talking about, you know, retail quality or like collector's value, this part is basically ruined. But if you're like, hey, you know what? I just need something that works to house the parts, the Marui parts. Hey, you still got it. But anyway, I end up having to drill a hole through the side to rip off the top of the screw, and so I've tried with the screwdriver manually turning it. I've also tried buying a DeWalt reverse screw extractor, and that just really didn't do it. That it was just so hard to get it out. It just, again, it's just such a small spot to access. This is not the way to do it. I do not recommend doing this because you basically ruin, unless you don't care about your receiver here. But if anyone else has a better way of doing this to remove it, let me know, because this, believe it or not, this was like the straw that broke the camel's back, basically. Everything was fine during this whole process except for this chunk right here. And so that's really, really unfortunate. But hey, it's now removed, and I also want to point out that once you're able to successfully remove that, and after you remove the center pin right here, you're able to pull out the whole box on the inside right here. However, if you watch these videos, they are very, 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 very difficult to remove. These guys are using like a mallet or a hammer to really smack it out to remove it. And that's considered, I think, normal to do that, because it's just a very stiff system. And if you need to do that for maintenance, I can't imagine doing that very often, because I just feel like that really just ruins the internals. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe it was designed for that way. And if you had the maybe it's just stiff for initially, maybe it'll get better in the future. But just something I want to point out, because I think for most people, this is something you need to consider if you're going to go down this route, or this route right here, to get the M723 look, because this maintenance and disassembly of the Tokyo Marui is very challenging, and I'm just surprised I got stuck up with one screw right here. But on the other hand, once you have to get the parts out, this system so far seems pretty good, and it might be worth it. So I think that's it for today. I think next week, literally, once I finish doing some more tests and really verifying if this product really works or not, I will make another update video and share the results with you folks. But I think that's it for now, and cool. Catch you guys next time.